NFL coaches who need to do more than just get to the playoffs and go one and done. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to get fired.
Yeah, right.
But it
Please
could
say
make things
that.
a little bit nervous.
Yes.
Now, and we're not predicting, we're not projecting, we're not saying that a team is not going to get past the wild card round. We're not saying this coach is going to get fired. But just objectively, you look at it now, and you introduce the possibility that the owner could do something a little bit crazy. Losing in the first round of the playoffs could make things a little bit dicey for these people. I think we've appropriately disclaimed that we're not saying they could be, should be, or will be fired. It just, they'll be better off if they get past the opening round of the playoffs.
That's right.
With that said,
That's right.
You get the first pick.
I'm going to go with Kevin O'Connell right off the bat. Well, he does. That's where
So
I'm
Kevin
glad
O'Connell's
you said
getting
that.
fired if they lose again?
No, he's
So
not.
you're
You
saying
just
he's getting
said that, jerk. Okay, I'm trying to say
aggregators.
that.
Hey, ML football. Chris Simms says Kevin O'Connell's getting fired if they don't get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, you're a jerk. You really are. No,
Hey, Dove.
But no, I go, it becomes a thing if they got to the playoffs and lost in the first game again, right? That's where I'm
right.
kind of saying. It becomes a thing. Wait, you lost to Daniel Jones and the Giants and Brian Daboll? What? How could that happen? What? You got in 2 years later and laid an egg against the Rams on a neutral field after going 14-3 and we're just thoroughly dominated and like no chance to win the game after like midway through the second quarter? You were like, oh no, they're in trouble. This is over. Like that's where I see it's a big thing, just because it's going to be just hovering over Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings and everything they do going forward. So no way he gets fired. Just got a new contract, none of that. I think he's the man on the offensive side of the ball, but I do think it becomes a hot button topic if that happens again.
Oh, it becomes a narrative that takes on a life of its own.
Right.
The Bengals went through that with Marvin Lewis as the head coach. Every year they got back to the playoffs. It got stronger and stronger. With the Ravens, it's an issue. Now, it's not the issue of losing in the first round. It's not getting past the AFC Championship or consistently to it. But, yeah, if the Vikings keep going one and done in the wild card round, it takes on a life of its own, and it becomes more of a pressure point with each passing year. At some point, you've got to end it, and it's harder to do it each year because it's a bigger deal each year. I'm going to go Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been since the 2016 season that they've won a playoff game. It feels like they're breaking from tradition in a couple of ways, paying market value to DK Metcalf, which is something they've never done with a stranger to the program. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting some more for Aaron Rodgers. I think that anything other than, and I said this the other day with the boom or bust, anything other than winning a playoff game is a failure this year for the Steelers, because they're changing their ways, not so they can go back to the playoffs and lose. They're changing their ways to try to do something more than what they've done the last 9 years.
Yeah, agreed.
Mike Tom, I don't know that he gets fired, but man, the voices every year, it gets louder and louder every year that they keep losing in the first round of the playoffs.
Right. He might be one that, for this sake of this exercise, if they don't, then you could certainly maybe he would get fired if they just go one and done. I don't know. But I'm with you. He certainly was on my list. Maybe he should have been my top pick. I was trying to maximize picks there, and my strategery wasn't very good, okay? Next one, I'm going to go with the guy we just saw, a little bit for the same reasons. I'm going to go with D'Amico Ryan. Again, no way gets fired. The man, one of the best coaches in football. We know that. Instilled a culture there with the Houston Texans. That's awesome. But it's year 3. It's year 3 with your quarterback. It's, oh, wow, what a surprise. You made it to the playoffs your first year with this rookie quarterback. That's amazing. Year 2, wait, it didn't go as well. But we still got to the playoffs. It was one and done nonetheless, right? Or they win a game and then they lose the second one. I should say 2 and done. But I think that's another one where I look at them and I think where they are with C.J. Stroud, year 3, where the team lines up and all of that. If they went one and done, it would be a disappointment, I think, for where they are. I think the Houston Texans are on a short list of teams that are in the Super Bowl window for the 2025 season. So I guess that's why I say they're in this category as well.
They win the division. They win at home in the wild card round. It's a given they're going to do that. If they would lose in the wild card round or not win the division and lose in the wild card round or not make the playoffs, that's a disappointment.
Yeah.
They're on that trajectory.
Right.
I get you.
Right.
Here's one that may seem odd on the surface, but You know, most people assume that no NFL team is going to be interested in Bill Belichick ever again. There's one team that I think, with a history of throwing coaching curveballs, could be interested, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it was not lost on astute observers last year when Mike Lombardi was trying to speak into existence Todd Bowles retiring as coach of the Buccaneers. He was trying to turn that into a thing. He was trying to make that happen. Bowles eventually said, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm not retiring." I think if Bowles gets to the playoffs and doesn't advance beyond the wild card round, we need to watch, because we've seen the Buccaneers do some aggressive, kooky things when it comes to coaches. And there could be a switcheroo of Todd Bowles for Bill Belichick. And I don't know anything. And look, I can't imagine any NFL team wanting Belichick at this point. But if anybody does, it's the team that thought it was a good idea to hire Greg Schiano. And that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I hear you,
All right,
Mike.
one more round. All right, those are the picks so far. Coaches who need to do more than just make the playoffs. It does not mean they're getting fired if they fail. They just really need it. We need one more pick each. Chris, who you got?
I'm going to go John Harbaugh. Again, one of the best coaches in football. No, I don't think firing is in the thing, but with the expectations, it's just, we know the Ravens. It's been disappointing. I don't have any doubt about it. The late Decembers, the last 2 years, the best team in the AFC has been the Baltimore Ravens. Yet they haven't been able to get to the Super Bowl. With the team the way they are right now, as awesome as Lamar Jackson goes, if they just went one and done and anything like that, that would be just an absolutely unbelievable disappointment. Seriously. So, yeah, again, not about firing, but the expectations. And if it was one and done, I think it would start the conversation about, I don't know, is John Harbaugh the right guy for this job moving forward? And that's what you don't want if you're a Ravens guy.
My first thought was your guy, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Even though the general expectation, I know they're the betting favorites to win the division, but they're down. But if they have a really special year and they peter out in the wild card round, that's not going to be great. But I'm not going to take my hand off the checker. I'm going to slide Sean McDermott into that spot. And it's almost inconceivable that it would happen, which I think makes it even more critical that they don't slip and fall in the wild card round.
Right.
Yeah, they've got to this year. They've got to make a move. They've got to get to the AFC Championship, and they've got to have a realistic shot at the Super Bowl. It feels like the window is as open as it's going to get for the Bills. They go into a new stadium the next year. And it's probably a good thing not to lose in the wild card round.
Definitely.
That's it. Have a great Wednesday.
See ya.
See you back here tomorrow. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.